How you doing? The year is 2012. I'm 16 years old, wandering the aisles of Walmart in my skinny jeans, while my mom shops for groceries. Usually, I'd have to time it right, whether my mom was in a good enough mood to buy me a new game, but this time, I was working for the second summer in a row, so I finally had my own funds. As Pierce the Veil blasts through my headphones, built into my hoodie, plugged into my PSP, I pick up a few games and I land on this. The Sega Dreamcast collection. It's 4 games in one, and Sonic is one of them. That's good enough for me. When I finally get home, I take out my copy of Assassin's Creed 3 and pop in this, the first game I decide to play. But then the second game I play was actually Crazy Taxi. But then the third game I played, well, at this point I only had whatever this is and Sega Bass Fishing to choose from. Part 2, I wonder if I need to play the first one to understand the story. It's kind of a long name for a video game. Space. I'm going to hyperfixate on this for the rest of my life. Space Channel 5 Part 2 found me square in the middle of a rhythm game drought. After the DDR craze of the early 2000s, but before the DDR revival of the 2020s, the hits that were popular at the time hadn't hooked me the way DDR did. And I was getting bored of my usual DDR-X, PlayStation 2, plus Dance Not routine. I was ripe for a new rhythm game, and this one absolutely changed my life. The music, the dancing, and especially the outfits, I hadn't seen anything quite like this before. Is that Michael Jackson? Everything about this game got me hyped and excited. I had to let gang know I fuck with this. Turns out, this franchise has been serving 100% certified since 1999. How could this have evaded me for so long? Recently, Space Channel 5 and Space Channel 5 Part 2 has had a sort of online revival. I've been noticing new cosplays popping up and plenty of online edits and throwbacks on my FYP. It seems like more people are finding out how good this game is. And following the success of the first Sonic movie, in August of 2022, Sega announced their plans to produce a movie based on the series. All of this coming across my feed reminded me. Everyone either thought I was Shazam or a Power Ranger at that convention. I need to express myself about this 23-year-old game in the only way I know how. I will be redesigning and sewing an entire fit inspired by Pudding, the top reporter for Channel 42, and Ulala's main competition. And of course, any excuse to replay this game is a good one. So please join me today as I sew, play, and yap about, in my opinion, the funkiest game Sega has ever produced. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Space Channel 5.
Oh, so sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Space Channel 5.
No way! Who is this new dance crew and why are they taking the grooviest hostages? Who the hell are the Rhythm Rogues? Originally released in 2002 for the Sega Dreamcast and PlayStation 2, Space Channel 5 Part 2 is the sequel to 2001's Space Channel 5. It was later re-released for the Xbox 360 as part of the Sega Dreamcast collection in 2011. The gameplay is simple and effective. It's 2499 AD. You, Ulala, must report on the events of a hostage situation terrorizing the space citizens. Where are they taking them and what are they planning? Boost your channel's ratings, get the prompted commands right, and groove to uncover the scoop by any dance moves necessary. Saving the hostages can only be done by dance battle. Don't ask questions, it's the future. Copy the enemy's moves, chew the bad guys, and hey the innocent. And as long as you've got rhythm, you'll be solid. There are 6 levels in this game. Named Reports, Ulala ventures through the galaxy to uncover the mystery. Each time Ulala saves a hostage, they're added to your dance crew and help cheer you on as you unveil what's really happening. The gameplay is repetitive, as rhythm games often are, but it has no problem capturing your attention with its funky beats and groovy dance numbers. It's basically Simon Says, but taken to Funky Town. My outfit's design is based on Pudding, the top reporter for Channel 42. A lot of the aesthetics of the game are obviously 60s and 70s, but when I think of the time that it came out, the 2000s, it made me eager to redesign the outfits to a more definitive Y2K 90s style. Especially since fashion in the 90s was also very heavily influenced by the 70s. So what if the characters had a more new millennium look? I thought about it and almost instantly saw Pudding's updated design, leaning in a 90s fine, R&B baddie kind of way. So for her outfit, I'm making a bikini in her signature blue underneath a maxi-length vertical striped jean skirt. I was inspired by Destiny's Child, this kind of bikini top and long skirt combo you see a lot on Kelly. It was around a lot during that time, but I always think of her when this combo comes to mind. Dang, I kinda did it. They're dead anyway.
The party's just begun.
Dude, even the robots dance in the back. It's so cute. Designed by Yumiko Miyabe, Takumi Yoshinaga, and Mayumi Moro, the main inspirations for the bright, futuristic 60s aesthetics were carried over from the first game. Dubbed retro sci-fi, Tetsuya Mizuguchi drew inspiration from nightclub disco and the art style of WASSILY KANDINSKY. The clear direction the aesthetics took, maintaining a sense of creative freedom while complementing the future it takes place in, is one of my favorite aspects of this game. Because the game was made for a primarily female audience, the fashion had to be more important this time around. Every inch of this game is bursting at the seams with style. Alternate costumes and accessories can be unlocked for Ulala's wardrobe by finding hidden commands in the story mode, and by completing section of Ulala's dance mode, which is 100 straight levels of dance commands. No saves, no breaks. These are some of my favorites.
Okay, really quick. The spy suit I really like because I like the hot pink and the black stripes, and I kind of want to recreate this outfit just to wear as normal clothes. The school uniform. I really like the chrome fabric and that it goes really well with her hot pink hair and gloves, and I really like the stars. The camouflage costume. I don't even normally like camouflage, but I really like it here because it goes well with her hair. I think it really looks good on her. The black gear. Black gear is all black. It's a really cute cat suit moment, and I really like that they made her hair black and that she wears dark sunglasses, and I really like the gloves, and I think the gloves would be cool if they were half gloves. And Coconut Ulala. Coconut Ulala, she kind of looks black, but she's not really black. It's just a tan. But at the time, I just took what representation I could get.
What? Get your coverage from Channel 42. Good evening, everybody. It's me, Pudding. Not again. Come on.
Pudding is determined with attitude and keeping it cute.
Good evening, everybody.
She can be a little shady, but she and her posse look good doing it. She becomes an ally mid-game. The relationship between her and Ulala, it gives more healthy competition than rivalry. This is the fabric I'll be using. A blue 4-way stretch fabric. I think it's some sort of vinyl. I bought this fabric a long time ago, so you can see how it's starting to show its age. Longevity is probably not going to happen with the final outfit, but it'll look good. And I'm just gonna focus on that. And I believe it's the same fabric I used for this red lightning bolt. I'll learn soon why it ends up being a disaster. I liked it because it had the same sheen as the character model. I'll also be lining the bikini with black lining fabric, and I'm also using a couple of old jeans and extra jean scraps for the maxi skirt. Pudding's top is inspired by 50s bullet bras. They were popular till the early 60s, and I really needed to incorporate that somehow. I made a mock-up pattern to figure this out, as well as the fit of the bikini. For the bullet bra detail, my 3-part pattern will work like this. Made my bias tape, and then to make the piping, I cut that in half. And I'm gonna sandwich this cording in between. Just putting it together like that, and then sewing all the way down. This kind of stiff cording, normal piece of yarn will also work as well. I'm definitely winging it here, but this is what made sense in my head. So I got a 3-part pattern. First part was on the outside with seam allowance on each side. The second part looks like this, seam allowance on each side. And the third part looks like this, with seam allowance just on the outside. So when they come together, it'll be 3 circles with the piping we just made in between it. This is all gonna have to be hand sewn, unfortunately for me. And it ended up being way easier to do on muslin. For the general shape of the top, I used a bra that fit as my guide and adjusted where necessary. And here's where I hit some bumps in the road. I had a lot of problems with this fabric. It's essentially a very thin layer of vinyl pasted on top of regular stretch fabric. So any manipulation separates the 2 layers and they will not come back together. It's definitely not a fabric you want to be jamming pins in. And because the vinyl layer is so sticky, I had to sew it with parchment paper underneath, which I then had to spend an eternity picking out of the seams with tweezers. I tried to make this work. I really tried to make it work. But at some point while I was sewing the bottoms, I gave up and peeled the whole layer off. It still looks good to me, but this is definitely the last time I'm giving this fabric a try. After that, everything went really smoothly. It's a basic triangle bikini pattern, but I did use this video by Cool Urpa as a reference to make sure I was getting the steps down. Whoops. I think, okay, they all turn happy at the end. That's so cute. What's even doing that? It always makes me enjoy a game more when the developers make the world feel alive and lived in. While the story is mainly focused on our protagonist, the rival reporters, and the authorities, the background space citizens make the world feel inhabited by real personalities. In-game, you can unlock all the character models and descriptions for each one. Some of the descriptions are secrets for replay value. I just always love when developers put in the assets for us to look at of the game, like concept art and stuff like that. Like, I want to see how they made it. I think that's some of like the greatest content for video games that I feel like we just don't get as often as we used to. When developers would put the concept art in there, or extra character models, or... Anyway, here are some of my NPC favorites. The sexy space guy that you save in the first mission, after she joins your crew, her energy is so infectious that everyone starts feeling themselves. Purge, the head dancer for the Rhythm Rogues. He wants to build a ballistic groove gun and harness the energy of the grooviest citizens. He's very small, but has some really powerful moves. Space Michael. He's the new director for Space Channel 5 after Mr. Blank was defeated in the first game. It's a not so little known fact that Michael Jackson himself requested to be a part of the development. His voice lines are so funny and over the top, and the animations for his iconic dance moves are lovingly accurate. Shadow.
Watch me bust some moves and copy me with no mistakes.
Yeah, that did it for me. He's definitely the smoothest villain I played against back in 2012. Like, just look at the drip. Look at the drip. He's the boss of the Rhythm Rogues and the main antagonist of the game. But something is off. His little minions are so cute, you almost don't want to shoot them. Almost. I love how small and adorable they made them in the beginning, and then they just grow bigger and more menacing. Mystery Skulls paid homage to the antenna for the Rhythm Rogues in their animated music video for Ghost. Fuse is the announcer for the game and the pilot of the ship, Astrobeat. He's your guy in the chair. You never see him, but his voice is all he needs to make an impact. Kerry Shale lends his voice to Fuse for this game. He's known for a lot of things. His IMDB is very extensive, but you'll know him for voicing Larry, Leslie, Bobbert, and Hector in The Amazing World of Gumball. I've been using his sound bites throughout this video. They're so iconic.
Very nice.
Space Granny. She serves as living proof that you're never too old to groove. And 88 Man. He's the perfect guy for the job because he's a fully automated space reporter. For her skirt, I didn't use a pattern. I wanted alternating vertical stripes, so I seam ripped these 3 pairs of jeans and cut as many strips from them as I could. And then at the end of this transition, they'll all be seam ripped. It turned out to be the perfect amount to be able to fit me, but it wasn't quite enough material to create the oversized slouchy look that I had originally designed. It hugs a little bit more around the hips area, and that gives it a subtle mermaid type shape that I also really like. Next time I'll have more jeans.
You're slipping.
Hey, it didn't warn me this time.
Oh no! Ulala, you can go home now.
As a subtle reference to the inspiration, I added the number 42 on one of the side pockets. This took me way longer than I hoped it would. Here are some of the iterations I tried. And you can see where I started having issues somewhere in the middle of testing the embroidery. There's lots of bunching and accidental shifts in the design. Here's where I tested the embroidery. I can see I'm starting to have some issues with the embroidery machine. Things getting all bunched up. Running out of bobbin. Getting all weird again. This I did have a kind of a hard time with, but eventually we got there. I had originally thought that I was going to embroider it directly on the pocket, but I don't want to do this again. And I'm afraid I won't have enough thread, so. I'm new to using this embroidery attachment. I don't use it very often, and this is the first time I've tried to design something on my computer and then put it on the embroidery machine. After getting lucky with this last test, I couldn't bring myself to try it again. So instead, I spent the next few hours sewing it onto the pocket by hand before finishing the skirt entirely. Off camera, of course. So here's where I'm at now. I still have some work to do on the top. I've been a little bit lazy. This is what the skirt is looking like now. I think it looks really good.
Pretty nice, I'd say.
I added the strap on the side. All the pins are in, so. But the waistband is on. There's a zipper this time. It doesn't look the best, so I'm not very good at zippers yet. But I'm really happy with how it's turning out so far. I kind of like the open zipper look. That's kind of the look I was going for. Let me show you the bottom of the skirt. And that's what the bottom looks like. I'm gonna cut this to be straight because that was my original plan. I wanted it to look really smooth. I wanted it to look more sleek. I low-key kind of like the jagged edge on the bottom, but it wasn't in my original plan, so it does have to go. But I think it would be cool for a different skirt or something. Anyway, we're getting there.
Now the real party starts. The whole galaxy will dance for me.
There. When you first start the game up, you're hit in the face with this upbeat big band sound production. There's no subtlety here. You're in the future, you dig? I needed to stop and dance to this for a while before I could even hit new game. Courtesy of the game's composers, Kenichi Tokoi and Naofumi Hataya. The music of Space Channel 5 Part 2 and its predecessor were influenced by big band jazz of the 60s and 70s, using the song Mexican Flyer. Originally composed in 1966 by Ken Woodman and his Piccadilly Brass, its main theme has become iconic again in a new millennium. But the game still offers a variety of sounds. Some of my personal favorites: in the second report, the eclectic sound of the children's instruments gives me a tingly feeling. I like that you can hear each individual instrument. I think this is my favorite level overall because of that, the guitar portion and the waltz portions. I especially loved Pudding's commitment to the Disney music. This Is My Happiness is the game's ending theme, sung by President Peace. You hear the beginning of the song once when you save him in Report 2, right before he gets kidnapped a second time. Then again when you save him for the finale for Report 6, as a full song during the end credits. This song is still in my music rotation nearly 15 years later. In Report 4, the intro to Michael Jackson's portion goes unreasonably hard. You can hear his vocal ad-libs in the background of the beat. And since the Rhythm Rogues are stealing everyone's dance power, all the robots are mimicking his moves. This part where the robots just moonwalk kills me. The fact that they replicated Michael's music style instead of just licensing one of his songs makes it so much more unique to the game and special. It also makes it way more timeless because it's original and isn't just a song from the 80s. Honorable mention to the Which One of Us Doesn't Belong song before you save Jaguar. This became a permanent vocal stem, thanks. I was also tempted by this portion to make the pink version of this costume instead. Singing and instrument battles play a bigger role in the game as well, as characters will often speak to each other through song and will compete in a battle of the band style boss battle. This was missing from the first game, from what I could see in gameplay videos, and I think it adds way more flair to the regular gameplay loop. I don't know much about music theory, but what I can say is they aren't stingy with the beats. I can get jiggy with this. Ulala's motion capture actions were performed by Japanese dancer Nazu Nahoko, with the exception of Space Michael, whose choreography was captured by Michael Jackson himself. I appreciate that the dancing doesn't take a back seat here. It would have been way easy for them to stop at the Bond soundtrack and call it a day, but there's no shortage of moves in this game. Ulala will even dance differently, and different instruments will play depending on if you're doing well. Miss enough beats, and she'll dance sadly, but never poorly. It's one of the things that's so impressive to me in relation to the era that it was released. You could have different sounds with each playthrough, and presumably better music as you get better at the gameplay. The dancing was just as central to the development process as the music, and you can really tell everyone grooves in this game, even the dogs, and they all look like they were given their own personalities. It makes those synchronized dance moments way more impactful. It's enough to power your ballistic groove gun, if you know what I mean. Meaning he actually wanted to use people's dance power to power his gun to force everyone to dance. Kind of circular logic when you think about it.
Watch my report on Channel 42.
And here's the finished look. I'm so excited for how this turned out. I feel tacky in the best way possible. I can't even describe it. This is the first time I'm putting on everything together. This is how I decided to style it, and this is what I had planned before.
You were the hottest in the whole galaxy, girl.
So here's the skirt. It's a little bit too big. I think I extended it a little bit too much, so it does kind of fall down a little bit. So I will probably have to go back and take it in a little bit more. I added this strap because it just kind of felt like it needed something. This is how the top came out.
Overall, pretty darn good.
It came out okay. For my first time doing this kind of bullet dart thing, they're definitely not as round as I would like them to be, and they were pretty wrinkly when I finally sewed them all together, so that's a technique that I think I need more practice with. It was really challenging to do, so the fact that it's finished is a plus for me.
Sweeter than sweet nothings.
I know my hair's not green, but this is how I did the hair. I used some of that extra bias tape and just wrapped it around.
Diamonds are forever.
Let me know if you think I did an okay job. But yeah, this is it.
Direct hit straight to my heart.
So that's my outfit and my video. Thanks for coming on this nostalgia trip with me. Space Channel 5 Part 2 is one of my all-time favorite rhythm games. It's cute and vibrant and criminally catchy. And if you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend it. I like the idea of clothing pieces doubling as cosplay when you put it all together. Getting to not only sort of cosplay from it again, but to be able to do it in such a way that allows me to have dope pieces for my wardrobe, it feels like the perfect marriage to me. I designed an outfit for Ulala too, but it turned out to be too much to do in one video. But I've never played the first game, and I've never played the kind of funky news flash that came out in, what year was that? 2019? So maybe I could do that as a part 2 if you're interested. But if you made it this far, it means a lot to me. It took me a while to get this out. I tried a lot of new sewing techniques. I wrote a script for the very first time, and I'm learning a new editing software. Anyway, stick around if you feel like it, and let me know your thoughts on the video. Did you play Space Channel 5? Did you play Space Channel 5 Part 2? What about the kind of funky news flash? What do you remember about 2012? Other than that, I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
Up!